there Thursday evening to join us in this first tutorial on the NAMI helpline. Let me get through this. Hold on a second. Okay, so the NAMI San Fernando Valley Santa Cruz helpline, and I'm going to make this as if you are not familiar with it. And if there's some background noise, maybe TV or something, if someone could either mute or turn that off, that'd be great. This is our helpline. This is our website. So if you're not familiar with it, the website is going to be something that we're basically going to be used as our primary resource center. It's actually being redeveloped. It'll be a searchable website, so you can use it to access information based on a search string. And you'll see in a little bit how we're changing the phone system as well. So what are we looking at doing in this particular tutorial this evening? What's the mission of our helpline? What is it that helpline facilitators do? How do we do it? And what's expected from a helpline facilitator? And essentially, you are becoming an information and referral specialist. Okay? And that's pretty much what we do. We provide information and referrals. We're not therapists. We don't try to be therapists. We don't try to provide advice necessarily. We're basically just information providers and referral providers. So I won't read this, but bottom line is a good helpline facilitator is a good listener. It's taking the time to listen to someone who needs to just share some information, maybe just share some emotions, but try to understand exactly what they're asking of you. I had a call this evening where the call was specifically for a young woman whose mom was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and she wanted to find out some support groups for herself, meaning the daughter. By the time we got into the gist of the conversation, I was referring her to various reference books for her to consider, DMH, the Office of Consumer and Family Affairs, many different, and walked her through the 72-hour hold process and the 14-day hold process and all the different things, and she was just thrilled that we took the time to share this information with her, but all she really called for was a support group that might be meeting during the day. So all I'm saying to you is take some time, try to understand what's happening with her and the family member and the person that's actually been diagnosed, and see if you can expand in the help that they might be asking for. And listen, key point. This is our mission from the helpline perspective. We're trying to empower each caller by identifying the options that are available for them and the resources that are available for them. Again, they may just ask for something in specific, but if we can really embrace and consider what most of us have gone through and what information we would like to have had at the time, and just share that, have you addressed this, have you addressed that, I think it'll be a much more rewarding experience for everybody. Compassion's the key. I mean, sometimes this is the very first call that's happening for them. Their very first time to reach out, and they really have no idea what to do. And as we all know, it's a very daunting experience. So compassion is the key, listening, and obviously making sure that before they're off, they have the information that they need, or that we'll be getting back to them with the information that they need. Okay, so the helpline. This is a warm line. We're not a crisis line. We're not a crisis intervention group of volunteers. This is something that a caller calls in, leaves a message, we get back to them. Okay, it's as simple as that. Having gone to the system of having 1 or 2 days, whatever anyone feels comfortable in volunteering, will hopefully allow us to get these turnaround times much quicker. Our goal is to return calls in 24 hours. Historically, it's been Lois Savage that's been doing this, and she's done a wonderful job. We now have 3 people on the helpline, but to be honest with you, we're not getting people's calls returned in a timely fashion. It's just not happening right now, and so we need to really implement this and hopefully focus on being able to get those calls turned around. I think what you'll find when you see what the new telephone system is all about, you'll see that there's a lot of calls facilitators will no longer have to deal with. So who contacts the helpline? What can you expect from callers? These would be individuals that have been diagnosed with a mental illness, family members, friends that are living with people with mental illness. People want to volunteer. We've gotten several calls this last week of people who like to interview us. Other mental care professionals, referrals. I mean, I got a call from Florida that I answered today of a friend who's in the San Fernando Valley who wants a referral for a psychiatrist. We don't do that too much, but I do have a couple that have been highly recommended by our own membership, and so I did make those 2 recommendations for someone in the San Fernando Valley. So you just never can tell who's going to be calling. So what do we do as facilitators? Well, again, listen is the first thing, and try to understand exactly what the caller is asking for. And try to go a little bit beyond that if you can, beyond what they're asking for, and see if they've got as many things as you can think of covered. Okay? The key here is obviously to be very supportive, to provide very optimistic comments, to offer hope, that with the resources that we offer and everyone working together, there is hope, having a very positive attitude. They're looking for someone to be empathetic and to let them know that things are going to be okay, and that's part of our job. Typically, questions that you'll be answering will be general questions about mental illness and related issues. What we try to do is refer them to various support groups, NAMI programs, resources that are available in our resource guide, which we're in the process of updating, and then any other organizations that we're familiar with that we feel might meet the criteria of the requested information that they're asking for. There may be some people that have called that don't have email access, don't have the ability to go to the NAMI website, so there may be needs for us to mail information out as well. Wouldn't it be nice if we had someone in a NAMI office that could do that for us? We don't have that today. One of our goals, I think, is to have that, but today we all do it independently, and if someone needs information mailed to them, we basically do that ourselves. Okay? Okay, what we don't do. No counseling, no therapy. We're not professionals. We're volunteers with personal experiences. So please don't try to give any advice on medication, oh, that's worked well for my son, or whatever it might be. Don't try to counsel them. Yeah, you might try to coach them a little bit and trying to say, well, have you tried this and have you tried that? But nothing from an advice perspective, okay? So, and again, that same way with trying to be a caseworker for them or a legal representative for them, we're not that. And if we place ourselves in that position, we actually could be placing ourselves in a very difficult legal position if it ever comes back to haunt us. So we're there to help. We're there to provide empathy. We're there to provide information, but not to advise, especially from a medicinal perspective or a legal perspective. Okay? Okay. So you get a phone call. You're going to before you return the call. My suggestion is try to do it in a place where you can talk. Reduce all background noise. And we're still getting background noise from somebody right now. I don't know if you can mute your phone but still background noise we're getting. Make sure that the resource list that you have available is either open on your desk or open on the website. There is a resource list on the website, which I'll show you in a minute, that you can go to. And the goal here is that we use our website to be able to search, go right to information that people are looking for, and to use the resource list. And again, they're in a very frazzled state, so they're looking for someone to calm them down, make them feel more comfortable, and just listen. Many times people are talking to someone and they really don't want anyone's advice, they just want to be heard. So that's part of the whole process as being a helpline facilitator. So what are some of the calls that we'll get? Well, one call might be, hey, my friend or my family member has a mental illness. Can you send me information on mental illness? They just want some generic information. They want to be referred to a NAMI group, for example. Where do I go for support? That was the call I got today. Treatment. I don't know. Have any idea where to go to treatment? This is the treatment my relative's getting. It's not working. What should we do? Right? Same call I got today. Hey, I need to put my mom someplace. Where do I put her? And again, not really sure how to help my family. This is my first exposure to this. Where do I go? What do I do? So these are the kind of calls that we'll be getting. And they'll be, you'll see in just a minute that they'll actually be siphoned off to various people based on what the request is. So this is a new voicemail system that I'm hoping to have deployed by May 1st. When a caller, if you listen to our own voicemail system today, you'll notice that you have to go through a myriad. You go through an English advertisement on family to family, go through a Spanish advertisement on family to family, and then you're asked to leave a message. And I think it's probably close to 60 seconds before you can actually leave a message. So the way this is being structured now is that when a caller calls, the first thing you're going to hear is, thank you for calling NAMI, San Fernando Valley. If it's an emergency, please hang up and dial 911. If you need assistance with mental health crisis that's not an emergency, please call the Department of Mental Health Access Line at 1-800-so-and-so. Then they're prompted to select either English or Spanish. Upon selection of either English or Spanish, the next prompt will say, if you would like information on, and then the first menu item is help and support for your family, a loved one or friend who has been diagnosed with a mental illness, press 0. Now 0, that's a very generic request. 0 is the mailbox that you will be calling into to retrieve messages or going on the mailbox server to retrieve emails. Okay? The next one would be how to live with a mental illness diagnosis, manage medications, and recovery, press 1. When you press 1, that voicemail in a WAV file will be sent via email to our peer program coordinator, who's Martha Conejo. That goes directly to her. You don't have to deal with that any longer. Okay? Family education classes, please press 2. This now, the same way, WAV file by email goes to our family-to-family coordinator, who today is Al Enriquez. So that'll go directly to him. You won't deal with that at all unless they leave a message for you by press 0. Volunteer opportunities, same way. That'll now go to me. An email directly to me. So we'll set this up, configure this in such a way where my email is addressed when you press 3, and so forth. Donations, press 4. We'll provide them with the mailing address and who to make the check out to and the mailing address, and also provide them with the website so that they can do it online. Support groups, speaker nights, special events, press 5. Again, we'll provide them with the website. And at any point in time, they can press 0 to get them back to leaving a message. Okay? Any questions on this, on how this is being structured, or any comments?
What if you get somebody that they want to press 2, but they press 0 instead? How do we contact? Do we have to contact the family-to-family coordinator?
So yeah, so let's just say, if they leave a message, when they press 0, there's a little bit more to this. It'll say at the end of this, if you'd like to hear the menu again, press pound. If you'd like to leave a message, press 0. So it could very well be that, and also a little bit more to this, it'll say, I just gave you the brief synopsis of it, but at the end of it, it says, if you'd like to hear this message again, if you'd like to leave a message, press 0 at the end of each one of these. So the hope is that, our hope is that the helpline well, the hope is that the helpline facilitators handle all these various messages. That the helpline facilitator will be dealing just with the referrals.
Okay, so let's say take a message off of 0 and they want the family education classes, or that call that you got today that wanted a support group. Would you tell her about family education classes?
Well, let's just say this. If someone is requesting for a family education class, Now, it depends on how you access this. So this is what I would be doing. You can access all of your messages for the night before by going into the phone line server and accessing all the messages via email. Now, let's say, for example, you click on one, and it's a message that says, oh, yeah, you know something, I'd like to know about family education classes, or I'd like to know about family to family. You can go ahead and now forward that email over to Al and not have to worry about it.
So I need to know names. There's no names. I hope when you record this for other people that you'll give us names, because I don't know who the volunteer coordinator is or who the different coordinators are. You're saying their first name. I don't know them from Adam. So.
Not a problem. Yeah. So again, keep in mind this is an overview. It's an overview of a tutorial. The specifics will be sent to you. The specifics will be sent to you
by email.
Correct. Yeah. What we'll do is we'll send you all the coordinates. Whoever these could be forwarded to, we'll send you that. You know, who's the family coordinator, who's the volunteer coordinator, who's the peer-to-peer. All right. You'll get that information.
Okay. Also, I need the address. Is the address and everything on the website? The address of NAMI?
The address of NAMI is on the website. The address, I mean, yes, and we've got. I'll put the address on all the information. And these are great questions because I want to make sure that we cover everything. So address that you'll have. We'll also have the volunteers that these are being sent to. Not a problem. Okay. Other questions?
I do. I want to. This is Kathy.
No, I'm done. Thank you.
I'm sorry, who else?
This is Kathy, Kim.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying is that when the caller calls, they have a choice of press 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, depending on what they need. And then when we, as the volunteer who are catching the calls that day, when we check into the phone line service or server, we're going to hear their call, but under the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to email it to that volunteer, or that's going to automatically go to that volunteer, and we don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with it. If they press 1, then that email is going to go to Martha.
Okay.
Martha Conejo, who's the peer-to-peer program coordinator. If they press 2, that email is going to go to Al. When you log, see, these are different voicemails. So 0 is one voicemail box. 2, the 1 is another voicemail box. You're going to be logging into 0.
So
and so you can either, just one sec, you can either log in by calling in like we do today and taking the messages off by listening, or you can log in to the server for the voicemail box 0, look at all the different emails, and the email, when you open it up, will have a WAV file attached to it. When you click on that WAV file, it'll be the actual voicemail of the caller.
But we will actually be responsible for the 0s, right? But not for any of the other ones, because we'll only deal with the 0s.
That's correct.
Right. We only deal with the 0s.
What happens today is that everything that you see here is left in one mailbox, and the helpline facilitator now has to handle everything that's left. And you could be getting, they have been getting 10, 12 calls a day.
Wow.
Well, it could very well be, and think about this, there are 3 people, each taking 2 days. If they're getting 10 calls a day, they're having to return 15 to 20 calls before they start again the next week. And they're working, and they've got families, and they're playing telephone tag. So the goal here is to basically have our facilitators focus on just the primary calls that are not for programs, for certain programs. You probably will get calls because people just don't know what to do, so they'll leave a message. If they leave a message, you take it down if you're going to call in, and then you send an email to whomever the person might be that should have gotten the message, which is done today, or you simply just forward the email that you see on the server and send it on over to the appropriate person that should be taking that volunteer message.
Okay, so this is Lynn. So you haven't gone over yet how we get the email, right?
No, and there again, this is a brand new system.
Right.
I'm giving you the highlight of the system. I'm not going to go into this evening as to how you log in and do this and do that. That'll be given to you in a very easy and detailed fashion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other questions? Other questions? Good. Okay. So, and this is a to be determined. The goal, what we're doing at the affiliate right now is that we're going to Google Docs, and all of the different documents that people have used all the years, and the spreadsheets and the data and all this, we're putting into a central repository in Google Docs in a NAMI drive. So what we want to be able to do is the same thing here, is that when I've got the resource guide for the helpline and we update it, rather than trying to send it out to everybody that's volunteered and whoever's not volunteering anymore, they don't want it, we'll go ahead and we'll update it in Google Docs, and we'll share everyone on how to go ahead and get the updated document. So there's one single repository. The same thing we're hoping to do here, although we haven't resolved this just yet, is that when we log this information about who the caller was, telephone number, information about it, and what the result was, that it's done in a central place. Log in, bring up that document, put your information in. Now we've got it all centrally located. That's the ideal scenario. What we found is that, especially the three that are working on the helpline today, they call from the car. They call from whenever they can to just try to get it done because they got so many calls to return. So I'm hoping that with the way that we've branched these requests out, we're hoping that each person's only going to get a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 calls in the time for the day that they have. And then they can hopefully have the time then available, since we're only doing it once a month or twice a month, whatever you feel comfortable doing, that you can take the time to log into the central call sheet and input the data. So we have we're tracking all the information. And we get calls. I mean, I get calls from people today say, "Hey, you know what? It's been 2 or 3 weeks, no one's called me back." And that bothers me. Obviously, it bothers everybody because that's not what we're here for. And then I'll talk to the helpline facilitators and say, "I've called her back twice. It's logged. I have it logged right here." So it's a way of us trying to manage the data. So that's our goal. We haven't really defined that as much as we've defined everything else just yet. But that's what we're planning towards.
Okay. Can I, Kim?
Go right ahead.
As an example, when we log in and see the calls, the ones that have not been followed up are like flagged, we'll know where to pick up.
You know, that's an interesting question. I don't know that answer. I don't know that answer.
Well, okay.
So it should be by date. They'll have them arranged by date. But let's assume someone just forgot to do it the day before. Okay. Obviously, you'll see. It's just like any other server. This is Robert.
Yes.
Okay. You'll see it's like any other email server. When you go ahead and click on an email, it then says read. Right? It's been read. So you know it's been read.
Okay. All right.
But if there's follow-up to be done, or someone hasn't from the day before done the job that they volunteered to do, how do we know then if it's someone that you need to kind of pick up on Slack because someone didn't do it? Probably, I'm assuming because the email itself still is marked as unread.
Okay.
But I'll find that out. I'll find that out.
All right. Okay.
Thank you. Other questions?
Kim, this is Kathy again. Can you hear me?
Huh? Yes, go right.
Will I be, when it's my day, let's say, to pick up the calls, will I be getting both the Spanish and the English calls? or just focus on one language?
That's entirely up to you. You know, I think we have about 5 or 6 bilingual volunteers, and Al's been kind of helping handle that, and I was told that each volunteer had agreed to do 1 week of Spanish, and Spanish is not as much. In Spanish, maybe 2, 3 calls a day might come in. So I don't know how that's going to be structured, but that's what I was told, was that they were going to be handling 1 volunteer a week. I still need to work that. I still need to work out the logistics of that. But it depends. If you want to, you can do whatever you, listen, if anyone wants to do more than 1 day, I put it out there, can you at least give us 1 day so we can really make this work? Because right now, some calls are not getting answered for a week at a time. It's just unacceptable for callers. Can you imagine if that happened to you? Well, maybe it has happened to you. Okay. So let's just kind of give a little bit of an idea.
Kim Linigan, so you were saying about the mailing. Let's say somebody calls up and says they didn't get the latest newsletter or something. Can I send them a newsletter out, and where would I get those supplies?
Good question. So, you know, what we're doing, and again, unfortunately, we don't have an administrative assistant. On many occasions, Robert, who's a chairperson of our membership committee, has stepped up, and I'll send him an email, and I'll say, hey, could you please send this out? He does it. I mean,
yeah.
He's very good. He does it. Of course, if it's too much, he can't do it because, I mean, he's not doing this full time, obviously. So we'll have to kind of play it by ear. But Robert, are you still willing to help on an occasion in that respect?
Yes, if it comes down to somebody specifically wanting an item, a pamphlet, something like that, the list of the actual list of support groups, then I will take that contact info, and if they need something physically dropped in the mail, I will do that.
Okay, and Robert, what's your email?
My email?
I'll get that to you. I'll get that to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sure. And I'll just say this. This is you know, not everyone has done this before. It's almost like a see, do one, teach one type of thing almost, on-the-job training pretty much. But I'll just say I'm going to avail myself to everybody so that they get a call and they're just not sure what to do with it, or they don't have an answer, then give me a call, send me an email. It's happening right now. I have no problem with it. In fact, I enjoy it. And then we can talk about what information you should provide to that person. And then we'll put it to the frequently asked question list and get it out to everybody so everyone is informed of it. And I will copy everyone that's on our helpline facilitator list. I'll copy everyone on that so they know how you would have responded to this.
Great.
Okay, good. Okay, so call return processing. So now you've gotten a message. They've left a message for you. Just some samples, some ideas. Make it your own. This is just something you know that might work for you, maybe not. But you know, hey, good morning. My name's John. Responding to your call to our NAMI line. How may I help you? Okay. Maybe you're leaving a message. Name's John. I'm responding to your call to our NAMI helpline. My telephone number is 818. Please return me my call at your earliest convenience. By the way, our website, SFV.org, also may be of help. Okay. If you have to leave a message, the request is, especially if it's an urgent call, try to continue to get in touch with them, because obviously we all know what happens in urgent calls and everything that's going on. The other calls, family-to-family, things of that nature, sure. I mean, I'd love for you to be able to return their call or just send it over to Al or whoever the person might be that you're going to forward it to. But try desperately to reach that person that's called frantically to us. And that's the priority in which you would return calls.
So in other words, if they have to call you back, we're going to give them the telephone number that they originally called, they're going to put another message in 0?
No, that's not the way we've done it, Lynn. We've historically gave them our number to call directly, our personal
Our home phone. Right. Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you feel uncomfortable doing that,
I don't.
I can understand. But if you do, then just ask them to call, give them the helpline number to call back again and go to whomever.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you.
So when you're talking to someone, you basically want to find out some information. When a family member is calling, you want some background information just so you can kind of give it based on referral. If it's a child, there's a certain referral. If it's adult, there's a referral. If it's a geriatric, there's a whole another referral that you can provide. Okay, and what's their relationship with the caller? So what's the diagnosis? What's happening here? What has happened here? Just try to get some background so that you can better advise them. One call it seems to be getting more and more often is, hey, my family member is sick. They need help. What do I do? What can I do? And the unfortunate answer to that is, unless they're in danger to themselves or someone else, there's not much you can do other than try to talk to them about their own lives and how things are going for them, and see if they will voluntarily meet with somebody. And that's the most difficult conversation, because you've got people who are just in crisis and things are happening, but it's not bad enough. It's not bad enough to be hospitalized. So those are the real challenging calls. I think that's more coaching with someone and sharing, maybe stories of your own to let them know how to maybe better cope with this, and just to calm them down and give them some empathy and just some conversation. There's not a whole heck of a lot we can do with that. Okay. So that's if a family member's calling. If someone with a diagnosis is calling, similar questions. How are you doing? Are you currently on medication? Whatever you think you need to ask, just to make sure that they're comfortable, you're accommodating their request. And sometimes it's a challenge. So you want to make sure that, especially if a caller, I don't care who it is extremely agitated, take a deep breath, count to 10. Don't try to force your point to them. Just try to listen to them, empathize with them. Typically, when they're that aggravated, especially a family member, they just need someone to listen to. And they just get it off their chest, and they're much more calm. And then once they're calm, you can now uncover what's happening and where you can refer them. Okay? Part of the whole reflective listening, I don't know if any of you have read the book, I Am Not Sick, I Don't Need Help, the LEAP technique of communication. It's reflective listening. Reflective listening is listening to what the caller has said and then repeating back to them so that you completely understand what they're asking for. Many times when you repeat back to them your understanding of what they talked about, it's not what they meant to say. It's not what they're asking for. So just make sure you use reflective listening techniques to make sure that you're understanding exactly what their needs are. You good?
Good.
Advice is it's a very difficult thing. We all want to fix. We all want to try to help and fix people, and advice can get us into some trouble. That doesn't mean you can't share a personal experience. It doesn't mean you can't say, well, have you considered this? Have you thought about this? Or even coaching them a little bit by asking them open-ended questions like how, what, why, how would it, how would things change if so-and-so did get treatment or you did get treatment? You just got to keep that advice thing down to a minimum. And any advice that you do give, try to be, well, I got to tell you, my family took family to family, changed our lives, changed everyone in our lives. I definitely would recommend you take that. Although we've got a waiting list of over 100 people right now, we're still trying to catch up on our family programs. But anyway, so that type of advice. And two, this is your time. You're a volunteer. So as best as you can, as politely as you can, try to cut to the chase. Try to find out what's happening. Yeah, certainly let the caller share what's happening, engage them, but try to cut to the chase to find out what is it that they need. What can I do for you? What information can I provide to you? Okay, and we haven't really developed a log form just yet. I will, and then you can use that and then input that data over to the central repository. But again, that's more logistics. That right now I'm just trying to get this tutorial done and get the phone system up, and that's our biggest, our primary concern at this point in time. Okay, so we talked a little bit about our website, and as I mentioned, the website's being completely changed over. There will be a search engine there as well. If you're familiar with the website now, let me see if I can get out of this just for a minute. Let me see. Hold on a second. Quick enough for me or not? So if we go to our website and we go to resources, and we go halfway down the page, and it says, click here, download a resource list. It's as quick as it is to get all the resources you need. Pretty quick. Now, I will tell you, this resource list, I don't know who did it, did a wonderful job. It's 2011, 2012. A lot of the information is still accurate. Some of it isn't. We have not done any type of research into, I'm going to try to get a couple of volunteers to call on the numbers, make sure they're still good. There's other things that we've added as well. So I finally got this Word document just the other day. I'll be making the changes. We'll send this out to everybody. We'll put the new one, the updated one on the website. And then again, as we make updates, make those changes so that you have it at the website. Okay?
Yeah.
You see how quickly that was to bring that up. Pretty easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. The other thing, too, is our website's really valuable for our callers. So if at all possible, while you have them on the line, if it's not a real crisis situation and, everything's fairly calm, get them on the website. Show them how to navigate the website. Because once they know that this information is there, they won't need to necessarily make the drastic calls again. We're here to help them, but if they can leverage the website, there's so much information there. It's incredible. And all they need to do is learn how to click around. So my suggestion to you is become familiar with our website. Become familiar with what resources are available on the website. That is your go-to. That is your go-to.
Okay.
Okay. We're also developing some Word documents. So frequently asked questions. We're developing that and what the response might be. When you have to send out something in the mail, or maybe there's an email template. For example, someone wants you to email them something. Well, let's standardize this. Let's get it so that when we describe family to family, or whatever it is that they're requesting emails about, let's standardize it. So we've got some standardized templates. Again, not a high priority right this minute. It's in my queue. And then we'll have those again. We'll update those. We'll have them on the Google Drive. We'll get Spanish translations for them as well. So that's all part of the program that we're in the process of developing.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody good? Everybody still with me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay. Like I mentioned, the Friends in the Lobby coordinator, who's myself, that's really the go-to person, because we have a Friends in the Lobby outreach program where I've got myself, my wife, a couple of MFTs that are on our little volunteer group, that if someone requires us to take some time and talk to them directly as a family and help them develop a game plan on how to move things forward and where to go, we do that. We're getting a lot of requests from the lobby program for people like that. request of that nature. So that's kind of go-to person. Right now, that's me. So again, if there's issues that you're unable to address, I mean, Hava just, for example, Hava Jaffe, who's the new helpline coordinator, she just sent me 7 calls that she picked up today with requests of information she had no idea where to go to. And so I responded to her and gave her that information. I'm going to put it on a frequently asked questions, and I'll share it with everybody. And if you have to call me, just call me because you can talk about it. It's just too convoluted to put into an email. Just call me. I'm pretty good at responding with things here. Okay? You got my telephone number. You got my email address. And again, well, here I've already said Robert would do this. so
my name, there it is. Okay, leave it up there a second.
I was going to have to delete that. I was going to have to delete that if you said no.
Newton.
Okay. These are, you're probably all familiar with this. These are some of our NAMI printed materials that could be sent out to them. I think the We Can Help is probably one of the most beneficial. It gives all of the different programs that we have, or the most primary programs that we have. But if someone's looking for information, you know, about any of these conditions, we can certainly send that information on that. Okay, logistics. So I mentioned Hava. I don't think she's on. Hava, are you on? She was getting home late. So this is what's happening, and I apologize. We kind of jumped the gun here before we had any of this ready. Hava will send an email out to everybody. Ask them to please select a day, and I think everyone has pretty much done this, select a day before, but not for May, that you're going to volunteer. If you select Monday, for example, then you'll pick the calls up on Tuesday, because you'll pick all Monday calls. Okay? And, you know, I know with the lobby program, when I've got volunteers and they're going to give me certain dates that are available, I probably have to send the request out 3 to 4 times before I get the schedule set up. So I'll just ask you, if you can, select a date so we can get it on the calendar, because it's just we have to keep sending emails and emails and emails out for reminder emails, and I appreciate it. Everyone's got other things going on. But if you can, you know, select the date you want right away, that would be great. It just saves a lot of time for Hava to do that. We talked a little bit about... Yes, Lynn?
I don't understand. If I pick a Monday, I'm not going to call into the service that Monday. You want me to call on Tuesday?
Yeah. So if your day is Monday, right, then you'll be picking the calls from Monday. So that'll be from 12
on Tuesday.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
So I don't pick up anything on Monday.
No, you're going to be retrieving Monday's calls.
Okay. But I don't pick them up until Tuesday.
Yeah, because someone can call up to 12 o'clock midnight on Monday.
Okay.
Okay? Make sense?
Okay. So in other words, I have to really block off Tuesday. When I give a date that I'm available, I have to be more concerned with the day afterwards, right?
That's true. So let me ask you this, just in general, you know, when we just, and this is not set in stone, but I suppose we could set it up if you pick Monday that you're going to pick up the calls from Sunday. I mean, we can do whatever's most comfortable and easiest on everybody. Does anybody have any choice one way or the other, which is more comfortable?
I don't care. I just need to know what days. In other words, I thought that Monday, April 20th, let's say, was a good day. So I was going to stay home that day and retrieve messages. But now you want me to stay home on Tuesday and retrieve Monday. So even though I'm signing up for 420, I'm really going to be busy with it 421. Correct?
Anybody? Yeah, that's the way it's presented today. Any other input on that? Is that too confusing?
I think it's a little more straightforward to sign up for the day that you are available to listen to the calls and do all that volunteering. But you're going to hear the calls from the day before.
Right.
Right? But what if there's calls from both days there?
Oh, I see what you're saying. So maybe if I'm available on Monday to stay home and answer calls, I should ask Sunday, a day on Sunday, so I'll pick up Sunday's calls.
Now let's do this. Let me see if this is more palatable. Let's just say if you select Monday, that's the day you're going to do callbacks.
Right.
So it would be callbacks for calls from the prior day. Is that easier?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anybody else's input?
No, that makes sense. You're going to you
Let's-
pick Monday. You're going
Let's do that.
to pick up the calls from Sunday.
So
Right.
that means you have to call back in the morning then, right?
You would. Okay, listen. Hey, Jim.
All right.
So call back in the morning. Well, so Sunday is obviously it ends at 12 midnight on Sunday, and then you pick up the calls anytime you can on Monday. The hope is that you return those calls before 12 o'clock midnight Monday.
Got it.
The hope.
Right.
Kim,
So you think to yourself,
won't there also be some Monday calls there when you listen in on Monday?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you don't take
well, certainly there could be, but see, there'll be dates.
for the Monday.
One sec. There'll be dates on when the call, if you're going to call in, there'll be dates on when the call came in, and there'll be emails of the date that the call was put on an email. So there'll be dates. If you see calls, let's say you don't call till 3 o'clock Monday and you were picking up Sunday's calls, and you see 5 calls that came in that day, leave them alone. That'll be the person on Tuesday. That'll be the person on Tuesday who's going to pick up the Monday calls.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens today, anyway. That happens today, anyway. So I'll change that. And we'll make it. So the day that you're going to select is the day that you know that you're going to have some time available to return calls. Is that more comfortable?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thanks. Appreciate that. Change that. Okay. So that's the overview. What questions do you have of me at this point?
When do we start?
Okay, so Hava's going to send out an email to everybody. We'll start May 1st, and pick your days. And then what I'm going to do is the majority of my time next week is devoted to getting the phone system up. Kathy, were you doing the Spanish? Were you doing the messages?
Yes. Yeah, I'm the one that was listening to all of them and then sending you just the Spanish ones.
No, I don't mean that. Were you going to be the one that was going to be doing the, recording the outgoing messages? Was that you?
No, I don't think so. Recording the outgoing messages?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
The voiceover.
That was.
Don't you do a voiceover?
No, I'm not sure what you're asking, Kim.
We have to record the outgoing messages. Actually, hold on one second. Just turn that. We have to record the outgoing messages for thank you for calling NAMI, for family press 1, for those messages per mailbox we have to record. Al had referred me to someone. I don't recall if it was you or not.